Hi my loves, my name is Bethany and I am the Yogi Witch. Welcome back to my channel and welcome back to this brand new vlog. So about a month ago I put up a vlog. I hope they're still called vlogs. Are they called vlogs? I put up a vlog basically talking about my journey with witchcraft, hence why I'm called the Yogi Witch. And today I thought I would jump on and just do a quick one about my journey with yoga, about my teacher training, about how I started my own practice, my studio, etc., with plans to delve off and do some deeper insights into my yoga journey. But I also put up a few questions, I also put up a poll a few weeks ago asking you guys if you had any questions for me, and I had a shit ton of responses, basically. So I'm gonna go through as many as I can, answer what questions you have, and yeah, give you a little insight into my yoga journey. So my yoga journey began around 3.5 years ago. I had just come back from Exeter University doing my master's and was diagnosed with depression, anxiety. I was going to counselling, I was going on medication, and I was very stuck in my own little world, i.e. going to work, coming home, being with my boyfriend, but just being sad. And I had nothing, God, when I think back about it, it's mental. I had nothing else to do in my life. And my mum dragged me along to a hot pod yoga class here down in Pembrokeshire. And I can remember this hot pod yoga class. I went along on this Friday evening. I really didn't want to go, but I wanted to prove my boyfriend wrong. I wanted to prove my mum wrong, that I was fine, blah, blah, blah. And yeah, it was hard, it was sweaty, it was intense. But during that Shavasana, I can remember crying to myself, just because I had never known silence like it. I had never known what it, like in such a long time, to just be still without kind of forcing myself to go to sleep or kind of coming out of a panic attack. So this yoga class actually changed my life. This was the yoga class that I met my personal yoga teacher and my mentor, IRENA. I will add a link into her Instagram below and her YouTube channel because she is just absolute goals. And I enjoyed it. I got lost in it. The idea of losing yourself for 1 hour was just so addictive to me. So I kept going with my mum every Friday for about maybe 2, 3, 4 months. And then we started adding another class. So I went on Wednesday nights and I just kind of got into it. First of all, I got caught up in the idea of the ego because I couldn't do a lot of the poses and I wanted to do all these poses. So I kept forcing myself to go back, eventually getting a little bit more confident to go on my own. So when I had a day off, I would go to my own classes. And from there, it really developed. I downloaded apps. I did it as much as I could at home. I tried to do so many deeper poses. Oh God, my headstands back then were terrible. But it was just such a release to me. I think it was one of the only times I've ever had a hobby, a physical hobby. I mean, I write and I read books on the side, but this is the first physical one I'd ever done. And it became addictive. So this continued for about a year, going every week with my mum to 2, 3 classes a week, trying different poses, just really getting into it. And then one day in a conversation with my teacher, she brought up the idea of doing my yoga teacher training. And at the time I was like, no, like I'm nowhere near good enough. I'd never be able to do something like that. Like, oh my God, the idea of standing up in front of a class, no. And she would keep bringing it up every now and again. And it started to kind of plant a seed in my mind. So I would try different courses with her, Ashtanga, Yoga Nidra, all these kind of amazing things. And in January 2020, I plucked up the courage to do an online yoga course because I was working full time, lol, during that time. And yeah, I kind of in my head thought I'll do teacher training on the side, I'll see how it goes and maybe one day I'll teach. But for now, this is actually a really good way to kind of throw myself into yoga and learn a bit more about it. Long story short, started in January 2020, we went into lockdown in March 2020. And it was during this lockdown that this love I had for yoga turned into an absolute passion. I had nothing else to do. I have no children, I have the dog, I have Sam, but in the days when Sam was working over lockdown online, I had nothing else to do, so I threw myself into yoga. I studied it, I watched documentaries about it, I flowed every single day, maybe 2 or 3 flows a day. I did my yoga teacher training with such enthusiasm. God, it was amazing to learn about all these things. And it was during these months of COVID that I realized that this is what I wanted to do with my life. I started to do free online classes for my friends and family, and eventually putting a few things up on Instagram. That's when I started my Instagram journey, so posting photos of myself on online. And yeah, COVID was when it really ignited, and it turned into a full-on fire that I could never, ever extinguish. So during the UK lockdown, I became a little bit more known for yoga. I was asked to host an online Zoom class for the local guides. I did it, as I said, for my friends and my family. And it started to become kind of snowballed from there. People started associating yoga with me, which in my local area I'm very pleased with, because there's much worse things you can be associated with when you come from a local village. And yeah, it was when I came out of lockdown, I went back to my teacher's classes, and she asked if I'd like to teach in her studio, which was just everything. So I started with a 6 weeks restorative yoga course and had a whole bunch of yogis come, which was amazing, especially because I didn't know a lot of them, which was even more fantastic because I was worried I'd have to fill it up with my friends and family. And started teaching that. After that, it started going well, so my teacher let me add another class in, so I was teaching 2 classes a week. Then during the winter months, I added another 2 classes in my local village, and it really kind of came on from there. So I fell into teaching and teaching classes, and just kind of discovered that I was a little bit good at it. I don't want to sound vain. I was good at it. Well, I enjoyed it. It was my passion. I was confident teaching, and I just knew that's what I wanted to do. So when we went into the 3rd lockdown in the UK, I don't know if wherever you are in the world, I don't know if there was many other lockdowns, but in the UK we had 3 lockdowns. One from March until July 2020. We had a mini lockdown in Wales in November, and then over Christmas we got locked back down, and we didn't come out until May, I think. It was during this 3rd lockdown that I threw myself into YouTube, and I started doing online yoga courses. So from all the money I had made from the classes I was doing in person, I put this all into my iPad Pro to record myself, and into my tripod stand, etc. And I had my boyfriend Sam teach me how to edit and film videos all on my own. This is where it really started to take off. The YouTube started to go pretty well. The online courses were going well. And then during this 3rd lockdown, I had a breakdown, which led to a breakthrough where I decided to open up my own yoga studio, which when I think back to it, it seems kind of mental. I had a very good business before. I was running my family's tea rooms. I was the manager, and then I bought the business off them and became the owner, and that was making me a lot of money during the summer months. And I basically decided to throw this all the way and open up my own yoga studio, which is Wild Yoga Studio, where I'm filming today. Since I opened on 8th of May 2021, my life has absolutely changed. Fresh Prince of Bel-Air style. My world turned upside down. And I have been living the life of my dreams. Yes, I might not be rich, and yes, I might not have a yacht, but the ability to meet all these new faces every single week, to kind of encourage people to find magic, to find self-love on the mat, is the only thing I think I'll ever do for the rest of my life. I'm gonna cry. I can't even describe how much it means to me. And I just know that this is my journey. When I think back to all the kind of crazy things that I thought I was going to do, I thought I was probably going to do a PhD. My dream was to become a history professor in university. Lol. And when obviously that went downhill, I can't believe like this is where I ended up. I cannot, I still think it's like shocking that I ended up as a yoga teacher. It's nuts. It is crazy. Everyone jokes that I went into lockdown, like, you know, liking to get dressed up, discovered the love for leggings, and then just found a career where I never had to wear jeans again. But it is one of the best things I've ever done in my life. Walking into that hot pod yoga class with IRENA was the best thing that ever happened to me. Maybe second, because Luna was very delicious. But that decision and that gentle guidance and almost tough love by my mum taking me there, I'm gonna cry, absolutely changed my life. And I'll never be able to thank IRENA or my mum enough for leading me down this path. And yeah, that's just basically my yoga journey, 3.5 years. Not that long when I think about it in comparison to other people, but yoga is a journey, it's not a race. I am so excited about what's coming in the future, i.e. hopefully a pincher, but I just find it exciting. Like every day you step on the mat is completely different. Every time you try a pose, it's completely different. The mindset, the body, how you feel. It's just one of those things that's ever changing and ever magical and just changes lives. There's a reason why people practice yoga for 25 years plus. It's just everything really. So if you haven't tried yoga and you just happen to find my channel by accident, then take this as a sign that you need to step on the mat and discover who you are. But that's basically a short little summary of my yoga journey. It hasn't been that long, like I said, but it has been the most incredible 3.5 years of my entire life. And I wouldn't trade it for all the money. Would I? No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't trade it for all the money in the world. I am blessed and grateful every day that I get to teach yoga as a full-time job, and every day it's just a good day when you roll out your yoga mat. So I will delve in a little bit deeper into my yoga teacher training, into my job as a yoga teacher and my studio in some later videos, but this is just basically a summary of my yoga journey, how I started and how it's going. But a few weeks ago I did put up on my story on my Instagram asking if you guys had any questions regarding my yoga journey. So I thought I'd try and answer as many as possible, as there was a lot of them, which thank you so much. Like, you've made me feel very honored that any of you care about this. Right, I'm gonna take a sip of my coffee. And let's take a look. Okay, so one of the questions I got was, have you ever been on a yoga retreat? And if so, what did you think of it and any recommendations? I have never been on a yoga retreat. 1, COVID. 2, I'm poor. But I do have some recommendations. So one of my best friends and actually my sister-in-law at the Flying Fit Foodie owns a business called Sun and Salt Escapes, and she runs yoga retreats here down in Pembrokeshire. And I think she's also got a few planned next year abroad. But I would love to go on a yoga retreat. I am going on this yoga retreat, but I forced myself on it. I hope she lets me come. But I would give anything to go on a yoga retreat. I have dreams of going to one in Bali, and I have a few kind of ones planned for next year, not for me to teach them, for me to go on them. Here in the UK with a few of my absolute yoga inspirations. Shout out Kat Mefan. I'm hoping to go on one of her retreats next year, but yeah. I would 1000% go on a yoga retreat. Save it money, go on it. They can be expensive, but because you're paying for quality yoga teachers, quality food, quality accommodation, and just a roundabout few days of just deliciousness. So I will add the Flying Fit Foodie Sun and Salt Escapes down below in the little bio or comment box, whatever we call them. I need to get my life together. Whatever we call them. But yes, I'm going on one next week in Pembrokeshire. I'm very excited about it, and have a few plans to go on ones next year. Okay, second question is, how have you found the determination to keep pursuing with your goals despite others' opinions? Long story short, I don't give a shit. I don't know if I can swear on this, but I am going to swear on this. I don't give a shit about what they think. It's not their life, it's my life. I have been through some very dark places in my life, very dark places with my mind, and this is something that saved me. So they've never walked a day in my shoes, so they don't have an opinion on it really. I think sometimes that people put other people down, especially when it comes to pursuing their dreams, because they're too frightened to pursue their own. It's very frightening to pluck up the courage to go for something, especially with the idea of failure, you know, lack of money, etc. But I salute anyone that goes for their dreams, and the only advice I have for you is do not listen to anyone else's opinions. If they're coming at you with negative opinion or harsh criticism, then that says more about them than it does about you. And I believe in a world where people should be kind and you should be positive and you should support other people always. So I am determined to prove all those people that had something nasty to say about my yoga journey wrong. And watch this space, because I'm going to. Okay. Oh, some good questions about my YTT. Okay, so it said, do you recommend taking YTT locally or online or on board at retreat? Okay, so I did mine with BYS, British School of Yoga, and an online course, simply because at the time I was working full time. Obviously COVID hit, so I wasn't working full time, but I really enjoyed it online. I think it was a great way to kind of start my foundation of my YTT, a great way to introduce it and to kind of get my hours so I can start teaching a person. I personally think, I don't know if I would do it abroad on a retreat, just because it seems like a lot, like it seems fast and maybe it's a bit overwhelming, but I think an advanced YTT abroad for like a month or 2 weeks would be incredible if you had the foundations laid with online course or with a in-person course over the course of a year, etc. But I think everything with a YTT is complete personal opinion. I don't think it's right for me to judge it. I don't think it's right for anyone else to judge anyone else's YTT. It's whatever makes you feel comfortable. And there is so much around at the moment. So if you are planning on doing a yoga teacher training course, then I do recommend really doing your research on them. Anything that is associated with Yoga Alliance is a great way forward. Obviously, as Yoga Alliance are the biggest insurance company / biggest yoga brand company, etc. in the world. So I think it's complete personal preference, but I did my foundational yoga teacher training course online, which worked perfectly for me and with COVID, and I have plans to do my 300 hours abroad, hopefully, if I ever have money. What was the most rewarding part of your YTT experience? The most rewarding part was building confidence, I think. I did it when I first started. I thought, oh God, I can never do this. I'm nowhere near good enough. But the more I did it, the more my marks came back, and they were doing, like, my marks were quite high. I became much more confident in myself, a lot more confident in my abilities, in my understanding of the yoga course. So I think with the YTT, it really does take you to a different level of confidence. It allows you to explore the practice a bit deeper, explore the spiritual side a bit deeper, and to develop your practice more. So yeah, developing your confidence, I think, was a huge part of the YTT for me. And I think many people would say that. I hope they would anyway. Okay, so next question is, first I just want to say I love what you're doing. It seems so authentic and true to you, which is so unbelievably kind. Thank you very much for that comment. It is authentic and true to me. I also want to know, what's your favourite practice to do just for you when there's no camera around? This is a good question. My favourite practices to do when there's no camera around splits into two ways. One, I love to practice skills. I think they're hilarious, like headstands, handstands, anything to do with inversions or arm balances. I love to do that when there's no camera around. That makes me sound like a celebrity. When I'm not filming myself or taking photos of myself, like the vain person I am. I like to practice those because I find it fun to fail, to fall, and to laugh and get over it. And then on the other side of it, I really love to do anything restorative. I love literally going into my bedroom, shutting the dog, the cat, the boyfriend out of the room, and having 1 hour just to be still and to lose myself in meditation, in breathing, in deep, deep poses. So restorative and skill practice are my two favorite things to do when I'm not filming myself, either for YouTube, for vanity reasons, or teaching. Okay, there's quite a few questions on the studio, but I will do a proper in-depth one about that because there is a lot of questions on there and I really want to give you guys good answers. But I'll end with this one. Where do you hope to be in 5 years' time? So, I have some pretty big dreams for my yoga practice and my yoga YouTube and my yoga studio. I'm not going to give them away, but all I'm saying is watch this space, because I am determined to attract big things for this. But in 5 years' time, in my own personal practice, I really hope to have accomplished a pincher. That's my biggest goal. And I hope to continue being surrounded by beautiful souls and having the honor to join them in their practice and being honored by the fact that they want to practice with me. So I hope that continues for 5 years, and yeah, some big dreams I am manifesting. Okay, so this is just a little mini glimpse into my yoga journey. I will definitely be doing another couple of vlogs on what it is to own a yoga studio and to be a full-time yoga teacher, as I've had quite a few, I don't know if you can see, I've had quite a few questions regarding that. And I want to give a really honest opinion and an honest point of view of what it is to be a full-time yoga teacher, because it's not easy. So I will do definitely something on that. So if you do have any particular questions, you can send them to me at the Yogi Witch on Instagram or comment below. And I will also do another one on the YTT, as I know it can be super confusing to get started. But yeah, thank you for joining me for watching this super little mini video. I've had a lot of coffee, so I'm so sorry if I spoke really fast, and I get very nervous doing these vlogs. But yeah, thank you for joining me, my loves, and I hope to see you again soon.